Good evening once again, everyone. A very riveting session before us, and we're going to try and match up to it. Aditya, thank you so much for being here.
Hey, thanks, man.
First thing I must compliment you on is, of course, your fitness.
No, yeah, it's just Bhago, right? So keep at it.
All right, from whatever little I got to know about you, whatever little brief that I was able to, in fact, gather in the small amount of time that I had, I'm, deeply fascinated by what you have done and where you come from. You come from legacy business. Perhaps, things could have gone in a different trajectory, but you chose this initiative because you felt a very strong connection with it. Would you elaborate? Where did this, Bhago Mobility concept come from? What was the inspiration? What kida was it that got into you that you had to start this?
First of all, thank you, ITV, for a fantastic conclave, very stimulating conversations over the last 2 days. There was Ted Closed, nuclear physicist, Mr. Harper, Mr. Abbott, Khattar sir, and Sri Lankan Prime Minister, and of course our PM today. Excellent. Thank you, Karthik. Thank you for making it happen. So the inspiration is basically a better tomorrow. I guess all of us live for that. So when you see a better tomorrow, how societies would travel or how they'll be mobile and how the energies, clean energies will drive that mobility. So and I come from legacy where I understand how these systems are built. So if we can marry these two things and create a better future for our kids, I think that's, and the Prime Minister has given a clarion call on 25 years of developed nation. So I think how people are mobile is evolving at a very fast pace. And just to keep pace with that, create a better world, man. That's the inspiration.
All right, so let's grab the bull by the horns, like they say. So what does Bhago do? Would you elucidate and elaborate that for all the people watching us on TV and, of course, the people who are in front of us?
Thank you. I think since time immemorial, wheel has been very important. So mobility has been very important to transport, to go from one place to the other. Civilizations have been built on and mobility. So how the wheels will turn in future is the question, and we're discussing that in the first question that you asked as well. So Bhago enables that in urban environments through intelligent and sustainable mobility. What we're doing currently is working with our partner Honda eSwap and having stations put at metro stations with swappable facilities. And then you create systems that can use that energy and deliver last stem of mobility for passengers as well as cargo vehicles. So just trying to do that. In Bangalore, we launched already, and now we're doing Delhi,
Why did you think there was a pressing need for something like this? What was this problem that you thought, okay, this needs a solution, let's work on it?
Of course, the clean energy, clean delivering of energy, sustainable waste energy usage is of course a key concern. But also how cities are developing, man. How cities are developing in future, how they will turn out to be. Like there is urban poverty. So how to create micro-entrepreneurship. So if we can enable drivers to own the vehicles, which are then run on that micro-mobility platform. So you're marrying two worlds where you have the need and you're also enabling a social shift. So there is a jump in possible cityscapes of tomorrow. So that's the problem. That's a bridge with, of course, it's a large bridge to solve, but that's the ambition to do it.
You mentioned the word social, in your answer. Let's also try and pick your brains on what kind of a social impact do you think this will have in the long run?
Again, the social impact in terms of the environment, I think is very clear. How it will change the environment. Also, I talked briefly about micro-entrepreneurship, where people can get enabled and can get jobs if they don't have a credit score, for example, if they don't have the money to put in to get a vehicle themselves. Also, as you see these urban landscapes, pedestrians are 25%, I think, of fatalities in India by statistic of all car accidents or all accidents in general. So to provide safe ways for them to move in an urban environment. So the pedestrians to be taken care of is another social angle where it can benefit a world of tomorrow.
What do you expect from the government? Obviously, this is something which is not possible without, a larger vision and hand-holding by the government. Is that something that you feel one should work upon, especially you should work upon?
It's a concurrent subject. So I just request, we have a great Prime Minister, man, with a clear vision. The Transport Minister, the center is very, very strong. Gadkari sir is doing a great job. All the bureaucrats are implementing strategy well. The only disconnect or the improvement point in 2 cents that I can provide is a better coordination maybe between the state and center, because it's a concurrent subject. So, we face a lot of different issues in different cities, for example. So that if that is coordinated in a larger single platform can be created, that will enable us to move faster.
When you say you face different issues in different cities, would you cite an example? Like, is an issue in Meerut different from the issue in Lucknow?
Like, for example, you cannot register e-autos in Delhi unless there are permits. So then ultimately it's a limited number of them that rotate. So only if the old one is recycled. So basically the permit then has a selling price because you limit the number. Like in Bangalore, the problem is that you cannot register vehicles in bulk. So you have to register them individually in terms of people. So that's why micro-entrepreneurship can help there. So you can register vehicles in the name of people and make them run it, and they can be more responsible for it maybe. So this is an example.
But there's a double engine ki sarkar everywhere in India now.
Yeah.
Do you think that the coordination is going to be at the next level now, including in Delhi now, where the BJP just came?
I hope so. I hope with the government, senior people listening as well, and across India, the double engine sarkar or a singular vision sarkar, we can say, whether it's whichever party, agnostic. I hope that does work and change in future to create better and faster mobility traction for us. Yeah.
Why the name Bhago?
So as we discussed, we want to get the pedestrian off the road. So to the pedestrian, why should he chalo? He should bhago.
So that's a good reasoning behind it.
It means prosperous in Punjabi as well. Bhago. I come from Punjab, small
Okay, I know.
place.
So do I. I know when you say Bago in that sense, I know. I recognize that. What do you think is going to be next in mobility? What do you think is going to be next in this space, considering the fact that we have this huge impetus being given to artificial intelligence? Do you think that can be infused in what you're doing?
Of course. Of course. Data is being created as a tremendous space, man. And it has been created throughout spectrums of mobility. So mobility is not one particular aspect. It is a combination of how people move, how lifestyle is changing, how people intend to move. Tomorrow, micro-mobility is there. Aerial ways of travel are there. So how can this all be connected together? Can all this be done together is the discussion at hand. And yes, of course, it's possible.
There's always been this challenge. There's always been this promise and conversation about last mile connectivity, last mile mobility. It also, of course, it's a double-edged sword because it also relates to security for women. It also means a safe environment, less crime, the law and order ecosystem. Is that something that you think about and plan on investing in?
Of course, we've had a complete fleet of people, driver captains that are ladies now. So we're encouraging that, and we find that ladies are much better in terms of following SOP and being long and together for the longer run. So yes, we are doing that, and it's a huge aspect, and our target is basically our kids should be able to go in that vehicle from the metro station to school tomorrow. So yeah, of course, that is a key concern for us, and we want to build on that so that parents can be satisfied and safe at home, that their kids would reach.
How do you think what you're doing is also instrumental and conducive to sustainability and environment in the long run?
Yeah,
considering the fact that we live in Delhi, which is one of the most polluted cities in the world. You look at the traffic. Delhi is probably a city that can accommodate 50 lakh people, but there are 4 times that people in this city.
Unfortunately, that is the case. I cannot change how our cities have been built or our economy is growing and how cityscapes will evolve. I think nobody can predict and keep a finger on how that will happen. What we can do in our bit is to enable, in a little way, our aspect of discussion. So for us, for example, if Amazon fleets can be logistically delivered by greener energies, these vehicles from metro stations, you could go to office, you could go to school and go back in a safe environment at night. Or tomorrow we can use artificial intelligence to see the flow of people. The lighting could be that way. Why do our roads are empty in the evenings, as you know, and they're full at peak and there are ebbs and troughs of traffic. Why can't we just use AI and data to manage that better? So I think all of this will play out. I think we're suboptimal in terms of using our resources infrastructure-wise. Even if they're less, if you optimize it, I think we can have a much better situation.
Do you think that artificial intelligence and technology ought to be used in terms of the kind of crisis we have seen in terms of traffic sense and civic sense? How people drive and how people communicate or commute rather in cities across India. Do you think it's about time that we start using artificial intelligence to figure out the law and order problem with commuting as well?
Yes,
Your number plate can in fact be snapped and the entire data can be given to the nearest traffic police station and an action could be taken by the time or before you're home or the next day.
Now my wife is getting challans at home. So, yeah, that's true. But of course, jokes apart, I think, for example, a repeat drunk and drive offender, his license could be straight away cancelled. Why do they need process of that? So yes, that identification and action could be much quicker with data integration with the legal system for sure. You're absolutely correct.
How do you think that the private sector can help the government in realizing this?
I think the government has done enough to provide us an ecosystem. I think we need to leverage and do real results. Yeah. I think everybody talks about micro-entrepreneurship and like Malak se Chalak in our world, but actually not many people do it because there is a trust deficit. The companies and the organizations think ye bhag jayega, and of course the Chalak thinks that this company is not going to make me the Malik ever. So we're trying to say that we'll take a call on that. We'll take a punt on that. We'll pick up good, like women especially, and we'll make them owners first up. So yeah. Let us do the talk, and I think there is, as we discussed over the last 2 days, there is immense potential. The government has laid the framework. It is for us to deliver.
All right, we just have about roughly a minute left. I want you to elaborate on what do you think the next 5 to 10 years are going to look like, especially for India, when it comes to mobility?
Man, that's a tough question. How mobility happens is one question. How it is delivered is another question. And then how energy to make it mobile is another question. So a minute is too less. So what I'll do is I'll just talk about the energy that moves. We talked about nuclear energy. Mr. Ted Jones was there from the Nuclear Institute, and I had a brief conversation with him, and he was explaining how micro nuclear stations would be set up in the country. So how those powers will move into the grid and then to mobile devices. And tomorrow, V2H and V2G, vehicle to grid and vehicle to home. So these could power the grid back, right? So you could sell electricity and energy back from the vehicle. And so that I think that is going to be a reality, man.
One last question. I'm really curious to know your opinion on this. There's this huge, push towards EVs, but the infrastructure is perhaps still short of the kind of consumption that the private sector as well as the government is aiming for. How is this deficit going to be compensated for? And in how much time do you think?
That's a trillion-dollar question. I think nobody has an exact definition of time on that. I think it will be a combination of solutions. Electric vehicles would be one. The hybrids are doing well. Khattar sir talked about green hydrogen powering electrical vehicles in future. So there would be many kinds of combination of all of this together to build a sustainable, intelligent, mobile future, I guess.
All right. Aditya, thank you so much.
Thanks,
all the questions that I threw at you, you took them on the chin and you answered them all very well. Thank you so much.
Thank
a big
you
round
very
of
much.
applause
Thank you.
for
Thank you very
Aditya,
much.
please.
Thank you.